Hey YouTube. So today I just thought I'd show you these Wiha pliers and cutters, side cutters. So they're the Inomic, Wiha Inomic VDE. I'm probably saying that wrong, but yeah, they're interesting, and I bought them because they look very comfy, and sometimes I do some repetitive cutting, and I thought these would be just the job. So they're designed to fit in the hand, be comfortable, and yeah, reduce fatigue, just make it a bit nicer to do repetitive tasks. Anyway, so this is them. This is the sort of combination pliers, and they're both made the same. The VDE is like a German association for testing and certifying tools, so quality German tools quite often have that on them. You see it is actually made in Germany up there. There's your pivot point in there. So steel jewels, just a traditional combination, so exactly the same as these sort of traditional type. These other type I've got here are the NWS. They're also made in Germany and a quality tool. I quite like these. I prefer my Nipex. I got the Nipex version. I prefer them, but these aren't bad. And the NWS do tend to be a little cheaper. But anyway, back to the Inomic ones. These, as you'll see, are smaller on the head, so you do lose out there on a bit of size, depending on how big you want them. Because I don't think you can get the Wihas in any other sizes, so you're kind of stuck with what you got there. But they're not a bad size, and the reason that they're this size is probably because of the strength of them, and that's the biggest drawback. I'll go into that in a minute. You've got a lock tab there, so these are obviously sprung loaded, and make it nice and easy. The material these is made out of, it's not actually, I can't see any sort of stamp on there. There's a pat mark, and that's about it. But they seem very much like the hard plastic you get on power tools, so some sort of glass reinforced nylon, I would suspect. So it is strong. There's a overmolded, yeah. So there's a rubber overmolding on the back handle here, and this yellow piece and this red piece are the same material, I think. In here, that's also plastic. This bar, that bar there appears to be metal, and you see it doesn't extend really very far into the handles. But I have put some pressure on them, you know, and they hold up. But it's flex. If you look, I can get some real flex going on there, and the jewels aren't going anywhere, and that limits the pressure that I can get on these. So on the traditional pair, I can really obviously these are still all the way through here and just overmolded with this rubber butane kind of material, which gives it its insulation as well. And although there's a little flex in there, there's nowhere near as much, and I know I'm putting a lot more pressure at the tip on these, so that's an unfortunate thing, and really the reason why I don't recommend them unless you're doing quite light duty tasks. Now they do, I've got two of them here. I believe they also do some long nose pliers, and they may actually be more useful because you tend to put less pressure on long nose pliers, or at least I do. So they may be okay, but probably the best way I can show you is with the cutters. They're made identically, really. I think they just pretty much changed the ends on them, so exactly the same. And the locking tab, okay, lots of that. So these have got a hard zone and the soft zone of the camera will focus. Come on. Okay, so obviously cutting in towards the pivot gives you greater leverage, so you can use the hardened steel jewels there to just cut through harder wire. And if you're doing a bit more precision, you'd obviously come to the end and nip on the tips here. So they close quite nicely, they do work, but let me show you what I mean. So I've got, this is just some single solid copper there, and I'll show you how much I'm squeezing that. It's obviously in the tip on the soft bit, so I'm doing it in the wrong part, but it's still a thinnish cable, and you put some pressure on there, you get some real movement in the handles, but basically you do sod all. I'm not really going to show you that. Now if I come down in the jewels, so right into the base, make sure I'm still on the cutting part, the pressure required is quite substantial. In contrast, I've got the NWS side cutters here, traditional style side cutters. These will go for it really quite easily. There's no, the pressure I'm putting on these doesn't start flexing the handle. And even as I come down to the tip, I haven't tried this, but if I come down to the tip on them, yeah, that was a little bit harder, but it goes through. So this is some 2.5mm flex. This is just normal cable we use here as a sort of trailing cable in the UK. So this is HA5 VVF, and that's not on there, but it's 2.5mm 3/4. So with the traditional side cutters, straight through. With these, I'm going to try on the soft part. Now I'm really squeezing down on that, and that's not going anywhere. So if I move it up, I'm sure it will go through. But I'm pretty much getting the handles to touch. You see that? And it's not going through. So I think they're a great idea. The handles are really comfy, but they've just not got the leverage or the strength. The flexing handles they could do with beefing up. They seem strong enough not to break, but they just the flex means you run out of pressure because they'll come together and touch. I've used them a fair bit, but they now sort of sit in a spare bag really. But well, I don't use them so much. So yeah, quite disappointing. What certainly has potential to be a great tool, and they've been out a long time, is a failure. I would stick personally with the traditional type. Nipex is my preferred brand, I have to say. The NWSs are good, the CKs are good. These are some CKs I've got. Obviously these are sort of cable cutters designed for something a bit bigger, and these just go through cable like this, like butter. So stuck up to them, but yeah, fortunately they're too big to be precision tools and too weak to be anything else. So thanks for watching, see you soon.